Just like Aaron Rodgers showing back up for training camp, we back. Was there ever any doubt that we would triumphantly return? Of course there wasn't. Of course there was no doubt we were coming back. It's only Tuesday. If we're going to skip out on a show, we're skipping out on a Friday show. Because we're logical. Because we think that way. Welcome to Cooperville Live. Wherever it is you happen to be watching, thank you so much for making this a part of your Tuesday. So many other things you could be doing, but this is the most important. Because Aaron Rodgers' watch is over, and the entire state of Wisconsin and the rest of the National Football League can exhale. Wild stuff. Big show, though, today. Big show. Shelby Lowe returns triumphantly to the program today. New music, live shows, all the things. We're going to talk about all the things today. If you have a question for myself, for Shelby Lowe, hit us up in the comments. Wherever it is that you're watching, depends on where they are. Facebook.com/Cooperville Live, YouTube.com/Cooperville Live, and on the Twitch, Cooperville Live. Joe's in the house. 2 thumbs up. 86 today, Joe. Couple of degrees cooler for you today. Tomorrow's going to suck, though. We got like a heat warning, heat watch, heat advisory. I don't know. Something to do with the heat. It's supposed to be toasty tomorrow. Followed by storms, because that's how it rolls in Wisconsin. You get the heat, you get the humidity, you get the thunderstorms, you get the cool down. Joe, it should be pleasant for you after those storms go through on Wednesday night. Weekend looks good. No complaints. Let's get to those sponsors, shall we? Let's. Yeah. Cooperville Clothing. Bunch of stuff running right now with the Go Smudge Yourself and Don't Be a Namas Dick line for you yogis. We got it all. We got the ladies' tees, we got the racerbacks, we got the tanks, we got the crops, we got coffee mugs and throw pillows, people. The Nope line is my favorite. It's the Dope line. Everybody's all like, "Oh," and we're over here like, "Nope." Emphasis on the "ope." Whole bunch of cool stuff here. If you never checked out CoopervilleClothing.com, please make sure you do so. We got tons of things. Joe, there's your shirt right there, bro. There's your shirt right there. Our Free the First line, we got the American flag athletic shorts. We got AR Grimm, a bunch of other cool stuff. Check it out, CoopervilleClothing.com. Captain Coop's Beard Company going to be at Riverfest coming up on the 14th of August, which is 18 days away from now. So if you're going to be in the area, stop out and join us. Beard oils, beard balms, beard butters. I went butter today just because of the humidity. I went a little bit more girthy on the product today. So if you have fullness of your beard, it's kind of like in order. If you got kind of the short round, close to the face stuff, you want to go with the oils. You're like me. I'm an oil and balm guy, and then like the real bearded bros. And if you're dealing with humidity, this is the beard butter is great out in the heat out in California. My cousin's got a glorious beard, and he uses that butter out there in Cali. So check it out, CaptainCoops.com, and join us at Riverfest coming up on August 14th. And also Midwest Meals, MidwestMeals.com. If you haven't ever checked out MidwestMeals.com, look at all this stuff. Bunch of new items added. They got the chocolate cookie protein balls. Well, you got the strawberry chicken salad. You got the queso beef bowl. You need protein by the pound. You need carbs by the pound. You need veggies by the pound. All that stuff. They have it all here. 16 plus rotating meals. Build your own. All the things to take care of your meal prep. And you can do that right at MidwestMeals.com. The promo code is Cooper at checkout, and you get 10% off your first order. Get your order in by Friday at midnight Central Standard Time, and they ship nationwide on Mondays. So check out MidwestMeals.com for all that stuff. Again, the promo code is Cooper at checkout, and get that 10% off because you deserve it, people. Because you deserve it. Like I said, it's been a busy day. We did a whole bunch of stuff with Cooperville Clothing. Make sure you go check that out. We got a new drop coming out next Friday, so heads up on that. And also, Aaron Rodgers' watch was on like all day today, and then ta-da, he shows up at training camp, which many people predicted. And now Randall Cobb apparently coming back to Green Bay. They're getting the band back together. So that's been flooding my news feed throughout the course of the day. And for some reason, and I have yet to figure this out. Now, I'm a guy who uses social media as more of an observer. All of our businesses, obviously the show, we're live on social media, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. So I watch social media as an observer. Obviously, I find, guests to be on the show there, and I see what other people are interacting with. For some reason, the algorithm has pegged me as a huge Britney Spears fan. Now let me be honest. There was a point in time that she was a part of my life. She was not aware of it, but she was. Not in like a musical sense, but I was young. But apparently in the last 24 to 48 hours, for some reason, like every third post that I see on Facebook is something about Britney. Old Britney, new Britney, free Britney. Britney got new shoes. What happened? And it's not like pages I follow. I'm not on, hashtag free Britney. Yeah, like totally. But I'm not like Us Weekly follower or any of the gossip rags. Like that's not my jam. Just all of a sudden, Britney all over my feed. Every incarnation from the Disney days to Crazy in Vegas. I don't know, it's strange. Facebook does not have me figured out. You think they would. 40-year-old bearded dude with a bunch of tattoos. Yep, Britney. Sounds like a good deal. Let's align those two. Maybe she wants to come on the show. Make her plea. You're welcome, Brit. Anytime. My people, your people, we'll connect. Just thought I'd share that with you today. Do you have that stuff happen to you on a regular basis? Randomly, all of a sudden you're getting fed all these things. For a while it was like old WWF wrestling videos. I was a huge fan of the WWF back as a child, so I'm not sure if they're trying to bring back all this, like, revitalize your youth. I got a birthday coming up next week. They're like, remember when you were younger and you could do all these crazy things. Forget that noise. You know what I'm doing for my 41st birthday? Jumping out of an airplane. This fella. We are trying to figure out a way to do it live on the show because it's scheduled at Showtime next Thursday, August 5th. We're going to be up in Baldwin jumping out of airplanes. We're going to try to do it live. We'll see what happens. If it's my last show, thank you for all the support over the years. Really appreciate it. I digress. Thank you all for joining. Super excited to have Shelby Lee Lowe back on the program. I was obviously we follow one another on the social medias. I see dude jumping in studio. He's got an album coming out. He's been out doing live shows. He feels like he's back to somewhat sense of normalcy. Shelby Lee Lowe is back on the show. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, man? Long time no see. Looking forward to talking to you again. You're right, man. I've been as busy as ever. I feel like this period of not having a lot of live music, I think people are just craving it, and it's been a good time, man. I've been playing a lot in Nashville and getting ready to do a little bit of touring and working on new music, man.
It's got to feel so good. It's got to feel so good for you as the artist to get back out there and to get back on stage and to kind of kick the dust off the tires a little bit. And also, you mentioned the fan base too, because they've been without that element in their life too. So the cohesion has been great, I'm sure, getting out and playing shows again.
Oh man, the first time I got on stage with a band in front of quite a few people, that was a cool feeling.
Yeah.
Just looking around like, holy crap, this is real. We're back. Never take it for granted again. It was pretty awesome feeling. I got to play 4th of July downtown Nashville. I think they estimate like 300,000 to 400,000 people there. And it's just crazy to see big crowds of people again. And feels good, man.
I think I saw they did like I'm not sure if it was drone footage or something, but over top of that crowd on the 4th of July downtown Nashville. And it's just, I mean, people. Everywhere you looked, every side street, obviously on the main street where all the performances were happening. But I was like, if there is a better sign, because we talked about this a little bit too, is that even before all the lockdowns and shutdowns and stuff, like Nashville got hit with a huge tornado. So they were already kind of under the thumb of pressure from outside influences, and then you go through the last 18 months. But to see that picture and video of all of those people, shoulder to shoulder, singing songs. I mean, back to doing what Nashville does best, and that's, unity and creating great music. To be a part of that, man, it gives me chills. I can't imagine what you were going through.
It feels good, man. It feels really good. I'm actually, I'm playing tonight in downtown Nashville on Broadway on a bar called Second Fiddle. So that's been, during the week, that's been a really good time, and I'm getting the opportunity to finally go back out on the road a little bit. Next week, actually, I'm going to be playing in Nebraska and North Dakota and Sturgis, South Dakota for Jack Daniels. So definitely blessed to have that opportunity and looking forward to it. It's been a while since I've got to hit the highway. So, I if I stay at home for too long, I got that itch to go travel again.
Is the wife and the children ushering you out the door when you start to get a little shaky about not playing music in a while? Are they like, maybe you should step out for a day or two and go do some shows somewhere?
Yeah, I started getting on their nerves a little bit. Time to move on.
Do you feel like that Nashville? I mean, we talked about 4th of July, and that was a spectacle. But do you feel like because it's obviously a huge tourist place, a lot of people travel down there. It's a destination place for a lot of people, musicians and fans of the light. Do you feel like it's it's starting to spin? The wheels are starting to spin a little bit faster down there with things kind of loosening a little bit.
Honestly, every night I'm down there this last couple weeks, it feels like old times because a lot of people with pent up, feelings of wanting to have fun, trying to let loose. And, it's just random nights. People are just coming to Nashville to have a good time and spend some of that money that they didn't spend last year on entertainment. And I'm all for it. So it feels pretty well back to normal in Nashville. I hope it stays that way. It's going to be hard to put that genie back in the bottle if they try to, because it's just been wide open. And the way vaccinations are now and everything, fingers crossed, that's not going to change anytime soon.
You mentioned Sturgis. You going out there for the rally?
Yes, sir.
Is it your first? Have you been out there before? Or is this your first time?
This will be my third time.
Nice.
I would have went last year for the 80th annual Sturgis rally, but because of the circumstances, I didn't get to. But I'm just excited to be back, and I'll be performing music for Jack Daniels at their tent that they have at Sturgis, and it's a whole nother world over there. Years ago I went to Sturgis just in the off season because I was playing some shows in Deadwood, and so I've always wanted to go to Sturgis. Let's go check it out. And when the rally's not going on, it's just a tiny little ghost town.
Yep.
With it's smaller than my hometown probably. Just nobody out, and it's just a bunch of little shops and stuff and souvenirs. But during the rally, I think they say there's like 500 to 700,000 bikers there. It's insane. It's a really cool thing, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And luckily, most of the folks that hang out there, they love my kind of country music, and they love Southern rock, and they love having a good time. So haven't been beat up by any motorcycle gangs yet or anything like that. So I'm all right.
I was out there for the 75th anniversary of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, and it was my first and only time being out there, and there's such a sense of community out there. I mean, everywhere we went, we were kind of centralized at the Full Throttle Saloon, and sadly, it was the same year the Full Throttle Saloon ended up burning down like 3 weeks later, and they've rebuilt since then, and the Pappy Hoyle Campground and stuff like that. So they're back in business. But to go and just see all the people, all the different sounds, all the different musical styles, and really everybody's kind of like cool with one another. Like you have this image, I think, when you think Sturgis, and you talk 500 to a million motorcycle riders, and you're like, ooh, that sounds sketchy. And you're like, actually, I don't know if I've ever felt safer in a place. Like, I feel like if something happens, if the aliens decide that this is when they want to attack, like, I feel like these dudes and ladies, we're going to be good. They got my back, and I got theirs. I feel that there's a unity there out there in that community of Sturgis, especially when the rally's going on.
Oh yeah, there's worse places to be. That's for sure. It's everybody. You're right, man. Everybody was really chill, and in years past, just really nice. And
yeah.
I think I've made a lot of fans. The cool thing about playing there that week, people come there from all over the world. So
yeah.
I've made fans from across the globe from playing at a little bitty tiny town in South Dakota. And South Dakota is I think it's a beautiful state. I'm from the Southeast, so being out west, kind of like that, it's just the first few times I went out there just blew my mind. It's like a different planet from where I'm from. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, the ride out there is strange because we come from Wisconsin, so we drive like through like Minneapolis, St. Paul, so you're kind of in this the ninth largest city in the country, and then you get past that, and you feel like you're leaving the stratosphere because there's a whole lot of nothing between. You get the outskirts of the cities and the suburbs, and you're like, wow, there's nothing here. And then you start to get into just outside of Deadwood and those areas, and you start to hear the road just rumbles. During that time, it's just a really cool feeling. And then obviously you get to downtown, and you see it in its glory during the rally. And I've seen photos and had people that have visited there afterwards. And like you said, man, it's like that's when they make their year, is during that week to 10 days of rally. And but kudos to that town that really that's their bread and butter right there. And I'm so glad that this event is coming back, and all the places and all the people that are traveling out there. It's going to be a great time, and for you as well to have that kind of exposure and people from all over, and getting a chance to really do you in an environment that's is going to love your sound. I mean, that's a win. That's a win-win for everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm super pumped. I was bummed out I didn't get to go last year, so it's going to be a good time, man. I'm counting on it being a really good time and making some new fans, and it's on my bucket list. I try to set lofty goals for myself.
Mm.
Someday I want to play at Full Throttle Saloon.
Yeah.
Buffalo Chip.
Yeah.
That's like the coolest thing ever. Like, I saw Eric Church play there one time, and instead of folks clapping when he gets done playing, there's a bunch of bikers by the stage just revving up their bikes instead of clapping. That's the coolest thing ever, man. I want that to happen in my lifetime for me.
Dude, that's I love it, man. Applause is great, and you've gotten applause, you've gotten claps and screams, but a bunch of revving motorcycles, that's next level. That's chief level stuff right there, as he would say.
Oh hell, oh yeah,
it's awesome, man. So great to hear you got tour dates lined up, and you've been playing again. It sounds like Nashville's back in the swing of things. That 4th of July thing again was epic to see. But you have been also busy back in studio. I've been seeing some footage of Shelby Lee Lowe laying down some vocal tracks for some new music. Tell me about what's going on and what we can expect and when we can expect it.
Yes, sir. So I've been writing and recording songs for the past 2 or 3 years, and it's all been kind of accumulating to this point in time right here. So just finished up the two last songs for a full-length album, and I haven't released a full-length album since 2015, I think. So been my first, a bunch of singles and EPs here and there, but this is my first full-length album in a long time, and first one that I'm releasing independently. It's going to be released in September, I believe. Looking like September, and I'm excited for it, man. It's some of my favorite songs I've ever written. My buddy Andrew Scott Wills, who produced the record, he co-wrote a lot of them with me. it's there's a lot of there's some really kind of traditional country stuff on there,
Mm.
and there's also kind of quirky some kind of quirky, humorous songwriting in some of the songs, and then there's probably some of the saddest and most serious songwriting I've ever done on there as well. And so it's country.
Mm.
There's also a little bit of um, just a little bit of a rock and edge to some
Yeah.
of these songs too. So I think it's gonna be cool, man. I'm hoping a lot of folks will latch onto it and get the word out about it. Um, the album artwork is going to be the coolest thing I've ever done. Probably, I got a guy named Isaac Denton
Mm.
finishing up the artwork on it today, actually, and he's a fantastic artist. He did my artwork for the Something in Me EP,
Mm.
and I loved it so much. I was like, man, I'm doing a full length album. I want to go all out, and I want to get you to do that. So he's working on it. It's gonna be a good one, man. So
Yeah.
I'll be sure to I'll try to send you some stuff about it when it comes out.
Absolutely,
Get you
man.
a copy of it.
For a project that, I mean, has been this long in the making. Obviously, you mentioned there's been singles. It's not like you've been off the grid for since 2015. There's been touches. There's been music. There's been shows. There's been plenty of things going on. But to put this project together, and I love the and just talking about album artwork and all that, things that go into putting a full length album out. Like, what is the feeling on your end going through all of the last 18 months, going through the process, finally getting the last two songs nailed down, getting a chance to have epic album artwork, which I always was a huge fan of, man. That CD inserts, cassette tape inserts back in the day. I mean, vinyl stuff, man. I geek out about, reading the liner notes, like weird radio music geek stuff. But to be able to put it all together and have it ready to go out in, just over a month, what's the feeling going through the mind and the body as you get set to launch this thing onto the world?
Oh, heck yeah, man. Yeah, that album artwork, for me, it's like I could see somebody's CD and I'm based on their artwork, be like, you know what? I think I'm going to be into that. I want to hear that.
Yep.
And I'm not, it could be great music, and if it's just boring artwork, I'm probably not going to think twice about it. So
Right.
I'm hoping that'll be on my side. But the feeling is there's a lot of excitement, and I'm also, that artist side of me that's just like, man, there's some crazy songs on here. I wonder what people are going to think. Is anybody are they going to think I'm crazy? Is this going to suck? You go through those things, but it's just like, you got to put yourself out there. This is who I am. This is what I've been doing. And, there's 7 billion people out there. I'm sure there's a handful of them that are going to like what I'm doing. There's probably going to be a lot that don't. It's going to be, it's really, it's country, and it's kind of traditional country, but it's also just, it's different, man. I don't know how to explain it. So I hope people will, I hope I find my handful of people of the 7 billion
amongst the 7 billion
are going to dig what I'm doing.
No, man, I think that's why I gravitate towards you and your sound and kind of your story and stuff, because there's a level of authenticity to what you're doing. You are who you are as an artist. You do the music that you want to do. There's not a mold. There's not a cookie cutter. It's out there. Shelby Lowe, there's a cookie cutter out there, and you can just pour yourself right into it and you toss it into the oven, and hopefully you come out as a delicious chocolate chip cookie that, who doesn't like a chocolate chip cookie? But you would also have to get up every day and eat that chocolate chip cookie for the rest of your life. But to be able to go and do the music you want to do, be able to experiment with quirky songs or fun songs and throw some rock and roll in there and to do traditional country, I mean, that's who you are as a person. That has to make it all the more, much more full of gratitude, because you're doing what you love and you're doing it the way you want to do it, without, again, somebody going, well, a couple more chocolate chips in here and we're going to make sure it's perfectly round and there's no rough edges to it, and we're going to put it in the oven at exactly the right temperature. You're like, we're going to Sturgis, man. Hell or high water. We're going to go make some fans. We're going to get our handful of those 7 billion people, and we're going to do what we want to do and how we want to do it. That's why I love what you're doing, man. I just love it.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I've had people try to be like, yeah, you're an Oreo cookie, but we're gonna how about we make you a chocolate chip cookie?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, no, I ain't selling that. That ain't, it's that's not a good feeling, So I'm lucky to be, surrounded with a bunch of people that like me for who I am and are that dig what I'm into and have similar taste. And knowing that, it's just not the cookie cutter. The cookie cutter chocolate chip there might be, a lot more people that just could easily digest that. But man, there's just something about being your own cookie, as you're saying, man. It's better. I like it.
100%, man. Well, looking forward to the new stuff coming out. And now I'm kind of excited about the album artwork. And I'm like, oh, wonder what angle he went with. What was the vibe on it? I want to see it. But having a chance to be in Nashville, and obviously you're a Tennessee native, so you've kind of been around the environment, for the majority of your life. Small town, Tennessee, which, I mean, nothing writes a better country song, a traditional country song, than being from a small town in Tennessee. It just doesn't get any, more traditional than that. But when you look at other artists, maybe guys that or gals that or songwriters, singer-songwriters that you've worked with, like, who in your mind out there is like, man, you got to, like, give me some feedback. Like, who do I need to go and check out? Who are the people that you're like, man, they're doing it their way, they're doing it the awesome way. I really, I'm a fan of this person's sound and their music. Like, who is on your radar as far as other artists go down in your neck of the woods, or even people that you've been, finding on the, talking to the robot and they're playing for you?
Oh yeah, man. I so in my adventures to try to find the handful of 7 billion people that are into what I'm doing, I've been using Twitter a lot. I saw you just followed me on Twitter, so I appreciate that. Got
on the Twit
back there.
Yes.
There's a good little niche market of people that like country music and different types of country music on Twitter. So I've been on there a lot. I've discovered a lot of artists through there. My favorite band in the world right now, I've seen them live. They're from Texas. They're called Mike and the Moon Pies.
Mike and the Moon Pies.
They're just phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of them. They're making the best traditional country music right now, I would say. There's a lot of really great bluegrass artists out there right now. Like Cole Chaney is one that is crushing it that I've discovered. And everybody knows Billy Strings now.
Yep.
He's blown up. That's great news too. So there's a lot of folks like that. I've got friends in Nashville. A guy named Logan Tucker is making really good music. A friend of mine. Fellow by the name of Stephen Hunley, who is a great songwriter, phenomenal singer, and he's putting out music. Not enough people know who he is. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's talented enough to be famous. He's just not famous yet. But shout out to Stephen Hunley. But from Twitter, I've discovered some folks just that are tweeting funny things about country music and everything else. There's a guy from Texas named South Texas Tweak.
South Texas Tweak.
Making really, apparently, I guess he's friends with, I can't think of the name right now. But anyway, he's making some really cool traditional country music. And he's really funny on Twitter too. So that's how I discovered him. But there's a lot of folks out there that are trying their best to make it. I'm playing a festival on September 4th with an independent guy he's really honestly crushing it. A guy named Frank Foster. And he's been opening up for Travis Tritt and doing a lot of really cool things. But a lot of people know who he is, as an independent artist. I think he's doing really well for himself. But he's just doing his own thing and just making music the way he wants. So I really respect that. So he's throwing a festival, and I'm going to be a part of that with a bunch of other really good artists. That's September 4th in Linville, Tennessee, for anybody watching from Tennessee.
That's awesome, man. I think that, and I've discovered that too. I mean, I've been honed in on Instagram, and that's how I found you. That's how I found guys like Joe Stam and a bunch of other, artists that are kind of under what, we'd call the radar. I mean, you're not under the radar. It's just, you're not when I turn on the radio station that's got, the 15 songs in a row and then they just play it over again. but there's really cool mechanisms out there, I think, for artists to find avenues and find a fan base, and Twitter being one of them. I didn't even think about, but you have a community out there that's all speaking the same language. We're all, kind of on the same page, and you can just it's like sprouting roots on a tree of different ways to find, music. And I'm sure for you, opens up some opportunity to, hey, next time you're up in, Nashville, you're up here, let's get together, let's jam, let's do stuff. So a great networking tool, but also a great way to discover new music, because sometimes it gets a little tough just yelling at the robot to play Shelby Lee Lowe, and then the robot talks back, and just, my kid ends up with it, and all of a sudden I'm listening to the Paw Patrol theme for the 37,000th time in a row, and I'm like, stop it, stop playing that song, please. But very cool ways to be able to get, to get your stuff out, and for other artists to get their stuff out and to collaborate on things. So very cool. When I replay this, I'll jot things down and check out some of those artists, because I think it's, discovery is, we have the tools to do it nowadays, and it was a lot more challenging, I think, back in, when radio dominated, the globe, and that was how you gauge success was by radio. Now we can incorporate streams, we can incorporate, social media follows, and how many people are interacting on music videos or lyric videos, or, videos you're posting of, being out fishing or anything like that. So it's kind of a cool new way to get your stuff out there and to find new music. So I'm excited to check some of those out, man. Give me something to do this week.
Heck yeah, man. I'm making it a mission of mine to, lift other artists up and try to promote other folks that I think are doing great things or just cool people. And, hopefully some of them are doing the same thing too, so, rising tides and whatnot, right?
Yeah, man. So I was out, my girlfriend and I went out on Sunday. We floated this thing in Wisconsin we do. We float down rivers on inner tubes with coolers full of beer. It's it's like a Sunday fun day thing. So we were doing that. It was like 90 degrees here in Wisconsin. We're floating down the river. We're just arbitrarily talking about random things, and the question was brought up, like, if you could have a beer with any artist, because I've did radio for 20 years. I've been a part of music festivals for the last decade, and I was I couldn't think of like one artist of any genre that I'd be like over another. I was like, well, it'd be this person, this person, this person, this person. For you, is there an artist out there, any genre, I'll say, living and or not, that you would like to just sit down, have a cold one with, and pick their brain, Q&A, ask them questions, absorb the greatness? Who would that artist be? Or if there's not just one, if it's a tie for number one, then who would be the two?
That's really tough.
I know. It was tough for me, man.
Dang. I mean, off the top of my head, without thinking about it too much, it would be really cool to have a beer with the King, George Strait, and just sit down with King George and pick his brain. I think that'd be a good time. Have a Miller Lite with King George. We'd be doing all right.
Yeah, man. I mean, talk about one that could tell a story. I mean, one of the artists that, like transcends music and that inspired an entire generation of country music artists and had his own style, and kind of, it was like when the 80s happened, and like arena rock was really big. Def Leppard and Poison, all these, a lot of Hairspray was going on, and makeup. I don't know, it was weird times. And then like the Seattle music scene happened, grunge happened, and it kind of just, it altered rock music and it changed the genre. George did that, in the early 80s with country, and it kind of was like this new sound, this kid from Texas coming out just doing his thing. And then you look at what happened in the 90s with country, and that, I mean, he set that whole thing ablaze. If we know George Strait, there's no Garth Brooks. There's no Garth Brooks, there's no 90s country, and we all know how well that worked out for many of those artists in that decade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, George is a good one, man. Now I might have to steal that one from you. Maybe we'll both have a beer with them, and then it only counts as one, and we still get to have another choice. How about that?
There we go. I would have picked Willie Nelson, but he probably wouldn't have wanted to drink beer.
No, he would have
pot.
He would have other ideas, like, well,
he has other ideas for sure.
Yeah, plenty of them. But Willie's still kicking it too, man. That dude just, man, nonstop.
I'd love to pick his brain. I mean, he's just one of the, I think he's got to be one of the most iconic people in music ever. So, I've always read his books, and I've enjoyed his humor and stuff. He'd be a good one.
Dude, he was a highwayman. I mean, like that's as close to 6 degrees of separation of the all-time greats, the Mount Rushmore of country music as you can get than Willie and the Highwaymen, man.
Absolutely.
My mom will be upset. My mother and father named me after Chris Christopherson, so I probably should at least have one with Chris because we went with the same spelling, and I was like, oh, all right, cool. Take it as
that's an interesting guy too. He's a smart guy, great songwriter. His story itself, I mean, you could have a couple beers and listen to him talk. That'd be a good time.
I would love that. And acting, I mean, dude's kind of just done it all, man. Good stuff. So new album coming out in September. You got shows. Where can people find out your shows? I think there's a list on the website. Is it ShelbyLeeLowe.com?
Yeah, ShelbyLeeLowe.com. I just got a new website developed with Rhythmic Rebellion, and it's actually got a bunch of cool features on it. It's so new that I'm still kind of learning what all you can do with it. I just know that it's like the coolest website you could ever have, and there's an option where you can find my lyrics on my songs, and you can mix my song different ways if you want to hear it differently. Like you can make a song as full band, strictly acoustic guitar and vocals if you wanted, and there's like a karaoke version. Like you could sing karaoke to my song. So pretty wild. But ShelbyLeeLowe.com. My tour dates are on there. Bands in town.
Mm-hmm.
I keep my tour dates on Bands in Town. I try to do Song Kick as well. But yeah, appreciate y'all checking me out on all the socials and my website and all that good stuff.
Absolutely, man. And new merch up on the website, I'm sure, as well. I know there's new merch on there. Shameless plug.
There's new merch. I've got new merch. I'm still learning my new website, so I got to get my new merch loaded up there. I'd probably sell more if I did that. But if anybody wants my new T-shirt, you hit me up and I'll make it happen. Folks have been Venmoing me and sending me their address, and I just send it to them. But I'm gonna do the right thing and get my website going with the merch.
That's awesome, man. Shelby Lee Lowe, I always appreciate the conversation, man. Great stories, and looking forward to the new music. Good luck in Sturgis. Enjoy your time out there, man. It's going to be a blast. I'm super stoked for you, and I'm glad Nashville's back and alive and kicking, and you're getting a chance to get out there and kick its ass here and there when you're out. Good luck at the show tonight, man. Go kill them.
Thank you, man.
Awesome, brother.
Take it easy.
Every time, man. Shelby Lee Lowe on the show today. New album this September. Make sure you follow up with Shelby Lee Lowe on all the social medias, ShelbyLeeLowe.com. New website. Go and check that out. And anybody going to Sturgis, man, it's a good time. 75th, I was there. Woofda. Great time. Great memories. And just an experience above all experiences and music everywhere. And it's wild and crazy times. And he's in the Jack Daniels tent. These are a few of my favorite things. I love it. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. Shelby Lee Lowe, make sure you go follow him and check out new music from him coming up very soon. We have... who do we have on tomorrow? Hang on, I thought I had a posting note here, and I don't, so I gotta go into my calendar and find out what's what here. What's what? Justin J. Arnold is going to be on the show tomorrow, singer-songwriter from the great state of Wisconsin. So make sure you check that out tomorrow at 5:10 for your Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. By the way, severe weather in the forecast for tomorrow if you're from the great Wisco, so just heads up, be aware, stay hydrated, all that stuff. We hit the links, and we get the hell out of here. Peace, Joe. Peace. C-Dubs, how much would it cost for a standard meal in the U.S.? Like $7 to $8 if you're still on here, C-Dubs. I'm just getting a chance to read this now. But to ship it to Malaysia, more than that. More than that. Shameless plug for MidwestMeals.com. Right there. Y'all have a great night. We out of here. Peace.